Hey y'all, welcome to another edition of Interview with a Reader, and today I'm here with Mia. Hey Mia,
Hi.
thank you for being here. I am super excited. I still remember the first time I scrolled across and found Haven, and it was such a good book. But you wrote a couple more since then, of course. Um,
I've been busy.
so let's see. What do you want to talk about first? What book are you most excited about of yours right now?
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess I should shout out my latest release, which is Alakazam. I'm gonna call it this.
Yes.
It's came out in hardcover from PS Publishing, and I've been wanting to work with them for a really long time, so I was very excited. And
Ooh.
yeah, that was my only new full-length release last year. Everything else was a reprint, and there was a bunch of short stories. But this year is gonna definitely be, yeah, busy, very busy.
I'm already super excited for your book that Earthlings is putting out. Of course, I had to pre-order it as soon as I seen it go. But tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did you end up getting to talk to Paul and do this whole thing? If you can, of course, talk about it.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm actually gonna be, I think, featured in an article about it because it's really kind of a serendipitous story. Paul had worked with Michael Marshall Smith before, and I'm a huge fan of Michael Marshall Smith. And when I first started publishing, I was releasing Estate Sale. This is my debut novel. Ta-da! And
I love the covers of your books, by the way. They're just so cool.
thank you. That one was really special because I had this picture in my head and I can't draw to save my life. So it was a several step process to get it to what I want it to be. But so I emailed Michael Marshall Smith and I was like, hey, do you want to blurb my book? I'm a total nobody, but a big fan. And he said, a polite maybe, which you say when you're a big name and nobody bothers you. And I was like, okay, fine. The book came out, and then a year later, Haven was coming out, which is a much bigger book. And I was like, I'm doing it again. So I emailed again and I said, this is a bigger book. It has hardcover, audiobook, everything. You're going to like it. And I got another very polite maybe. And 2 months later, he emailed me to say that he's read the book and he thought it was one of the best novels he's read in years. And he blurbed it very beautifully. It's in the book. And we sort of been chatting since for a while. And then he did a Substack interview with me. Now, Paul is a fan of Michael Marshall Smith. He saw my name in there. He reached out to me. He said, what is this I hear about this Haven? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm very interested in this book. I'm like, okay, well, check it out. I think he read maybe 100 pages and he offered me a 2-book deal based on that. So
That's so cool.
yeah, it's kind of like a beautiful snowball to avalanche chain of events. And I was so, I definitely didn't expect it. Earthling books are, they're works of art.
Yes. I was so excited when I heard, because I love Earthlings. I've got a bunch of their books. And then when Paul was talking about that, I was like, are you serious? Oh my goodness. That's just so exciting.
That's exactly the right amount of excitement. That's what I like to hear. The honest thing about it to me, like to show like how random things happen, is that I don't know, maybe like 20 years ago, I was in Philly Library in horror section, which I haunted regularly, and I found, I don't know why, they had a very random horror section, but they had Michael Marshall Smith's collection that Earthling put out, called Everything You Need. Beautiful book. And that's one of the things that made me such a fan of Michael's.
Oh my goodness. That is such a crazy whole circle situation.
It really is. So it kind of like all came back. And when Paul heard it, he sent me a copy of that book. So now I have it on my bookshelf. Finally, I own my own signed Michael's.
That's so cool. And that is so cool. And now you're getting to do these books. Oh, I can't wait to see what else you do. I'm just so excited. Like Earthlings, getting all these stories. Ugh, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see your second book with them, of course, since you got a 2-book deal.
Well, the second one is very different. So the one you pre-ordered is just a novella. It's kind of right in time for summer. You get to go to Bermuda Triangle and see what can go wrong.
Everything.
That's what they tell me. I haven't been, but I'm sure the Bermuda Triangle, whoever's in charge of their tourism, would not love this book. But it's kind of like a quiet psychological things fall apart story.
Mhm.
And my second book comes out in October. It's part of their ongoing Halloween series.
Oh.
So it's my Halloween book. And I wanted to do something really, really special. And when I found out that Paul wanted a Halloween book, that was like a while back. I was celebrating Halloween in 2024. We do the same thing. Our town goes crazy for Halloween. I can't even begin to tell you. They're very enthusiastic. It's a very sleepy little town. It doesn't do anything really, but come Halloween, they just go nuts. And it's famous, and people from all over come here to celebrate. And yes, if you're ever in South Jersey, I'll take you to the real place in the book. And when I came home that day, I was like, I know what this story is for Paul. And I sat down. I think I wrote it nonstop in like 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Poured out of me, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is my definitive Halloween story. If I never write another Halloween story, I'll be happy.
Well, you just got a huge honor, in my opinion, getting to write a Halloween story for Earthlings releases for Halloween. That's even cooler than just getting a regular release, I think.
I think so too, because on top of everything, it was a challenge. The novella I already had, I just re-edited and reworked it. But this was very specifically like I was. You've seen what they do for Halloweens. They have a crazy lineup of
I'm serious.
favorite authors. I'm like, I have to do something special to kind of earn my place in that. So hopefully, it's with Paul now. It's been I've done the second edit. You wouldn't be probably too surprised based on my last story, but Michael Marshall Smith wrote a beautiful introduction for it.
That's even cooler.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully pre-orders will go, in a few months.
Oh, absolutely. Cannot wait. Always love getting books from Earthlings. And now I get a cool one from you, and two, because I will definitely be getting that other one at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think
so
the one that's hopefully will be like Haven, will be closer associated to my name, because most people hear my name and they're like, Haven.
Yes. I mean, after your first book release from Earthlings and then your second one, I definitely think people are going to realize, hey, this is somebody. And I really hope they get into your books and just realize what they've been missing out on, because, oh my goodness.
Preach it. Yes.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about your writing process. Do you like to plan your books, or are you just kind of one of those people that wing it?
Oh, I don't plan anything. Terrible at planning. I don't plan almost anything ever, and I definitely don't plan my writing. I just sit down and I see what comes out. I write full time, so I spend a lot of time on my computer, and I write very fast. I always say that, and people are like, well, how fast? I'm like, well, I usually write a novel in a month.
Oh my goodness.
So that, or like I do a short story a day if I'm left to my own devices. And I just kind of write. I don't really stop. I'm not big on writer's blocks or anything like that. I just kind of power through. And I also write all over the place, as you know, because you read The Muffin Man.
Yes. I love that too.
It's so random.
Is there any type of book that you haven't written yet, like trope, I guess, or genre that you think you would like to try a hand at?
I want to write like one of those big idea books like Blake Crouch writes. Something very original and kind of techy, but I know my limitations, and it was a huge success to get this chat set up. So I don't know about that, but so far I've written all my favorite genres. I've done mystery, thriller, noir, comedy, sci-fi. Um, yeah, I think I'm mostly known for horror, so it's hard to people to
Get away from that.
yeah, like I really appreciate that you just like, yeah, sure, I'll check that out. But I think a lot of horror fans are like, what? What? These are pastries? They're killing each other? What the heck? You know?
Some people are so weird when I find an author that I actually like and they're like, hey, I just wrote this book. And I'm like, okay, well, sure. I like your other stuff. It's not going to be bad. It's going to be a good time anyway. But crazy. I wish more people took more chances on books. They would find so many good things.
Me too. Me too. I read very broadly across genres. Horror is my, my go-to. I love horror, but I would say it's at most about quarter to a third of what I read every month. I try to read everything else too. So I kind of hope, people who like my work have the same mentality. Otherwise, you miss out on a chunk of it.
So, who do you think were some of your biggest influences to wanting to be an author? Because to me, that's like a big thing. I'm sitting here thinking about how do you even get the words out of your head into this thing that makes sense? So, how did you get to this point?
It's the easiest thing in the world. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I never wrote. I didn't do anything with writing. I never took any writing classes. I didn't do any of it. But in the summer of 2021, I started telling my wife that I keep hearing stories in my head. And I always say that because it's such a silly story, because that's literally what happened. I would wake up and I would have all these stories crowding my mind. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she says, write it down. I started writing it down, and that was it. And I just couldn't stop. I think it may be the thing I'm supposed to be doing, and maybe that's why.
I mean, that would make sense. You like it. I think you're good at it, and it seems to come pretty naturally. So you might be very lucky and found like the perfect thing.
Exactly. I mean, it took me a very long time. So I'm like, I hope this is it, because I don't want to keep searching. I mean, this seems like a good fit. But as far as to your first part of the question, I still read a lot, but I don't read as much because I'm too busy writing my own. But before that, I was reading like 40 to 50 books a month. And I was reviewing a lot of them. I have a review site and everything, but it's all anonymous, so. And it's hard to actually narrow down because I read so much, but I would say I started with short stories. So with that in mind, Michael Marshall Smith, absolutely genius at short fiction. Richard Matheson, Jack Ketchum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would probably start there. Those are the people who showed me like how short fiction is so brilliantly well, and some of those stories are like still just etched into my mind, and I could still recall them and how I felt when I first read them. That was very effective.
Jack Ketchum is one of those authors. I read Offspring and Off Season, and when it comes to cannibalism, like nobody else has a candle. Like I literally heard the noises when I read his words, and I'm like, how are you doing this? It's magical. Like it's been over a decade since I read those, and it's still literally I can think about it, and I'm like, oh, just authors like him are just magic somehow. So I definitely see how that could be.
It's
influential.
not even, he doesn't overwrite anything. His prose is very simple, but he just hits all the
He's
right
the mark.
notes, and it's so memorable. He has this one story, and I'm terrible with titles, so forgive me. But he has this one story about a nosebleed that won't stop. It's such a freaky story. To this day, I cannot get a nosebleed and not think about that story. And I read it probably 20 some years ago.
Oh my goodness.
I
He
mean,
is memorable. He just has a way, just somehow, like, his words paint this picture that gets etched into your brain and it doesn't go away.
exactly. And, he's a little more visceral, I think, in his writing than I am. I'm very reserved when it comes to horror. I prefer psychological. Like, I don't think anybody's ever going to read my book and be like, too much. The gore sucks. So he definitely has a leg up on me there, but I hope that I can unsettle readers in other ways that are like emotionally similar, but not as.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Okay, so let's see. What else do I want to ask? Okay, tell me a little bit about how Haven happened. That was the first book I'd read by you. I can't remember where I found it. I think it might have been Book Sirens when I was using those. And I was like, ooh, I love books about crazy houses, families, trapped areas. I was like, I have to read this. And then it was so, so good. So, how did you even get to that? Sat down and just started coming up with this family and this house and everything?
No, it was kind of like I knew the story and I just had to write it down.
I'm so jealous of you right now.
I'm sorry. Okay.
It's so cool.
Scratch that. It was a hugely effortful thing. It racked my brain. And I am because I was reading so much, you can't not see tropes, and I was starting to get tired of the same things over and over again. I swear I would read the same haunted house story in like 10 different books. And
Yes.
one of the challenges I give to myself as a writer with every book is I want to do something different. So I want to do something I haven't read yet, because if it's not interesting to me, I don't expect it to be interesting to anybody. So I'm like, I'm going to write a haunted house story I have not read yet. And that was it. Then it just came to me, this house and this woman who owned it. And the other thing is, I really wanted to write a family that you don't really read about in fiction, because in fiction you read this family and they're so darn likable. They're just such nice people. You just want them to succeed, and you just want to hug them, you want to hang with them. And that's nice, but they're just not realistic.
No.
So I just wanted to write really realistic, flawed people, and I think it rubbed a lot of readers the wrong way, because I would read sometimes some of my reviews and they were like, I liked the writing, but those characters were terrible. Everybody but Ava and Nina were just terrible. I'm like, that's kind
Sometimes they're supposed to be.
yeah. I don't think they're terrible people, honestly. I think they're normal, regular people that we just get to know a little too well, because the perspective keeps changing.
I mean, we're sitting there reading a whole story about them, and it's not like you're meeting them for 30 minutes out in the wild and then you don't see them for a couple of days. So you're sitting there, you're stewing in how much you may not like these characters. So I guess I understand that. But then again, not every character is supposed to be likable. That's boring.
That's my thought exactly. I don't like likable characters, and I don't love neat endings. And the ending of Haven was also apparently very divisive. I didn't think that at the time, but I got some readers telling me very interesting things about it. And I think the most shocking thing to me was when somebody said, well, I can't believe she just did it off screen. Why did you do it off screen? Why did you do the JJ thing off screen? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Why would you want to see that?
Yes.
What? Like, I know.
Did you put a detailed description? Or...
Yeah, I think that's what was missing, and I'm like, okay, but that's just not what I write. I think knowing what happens is disturbing enough. And honestly, if you want that sort of thing, just watch the news. Read the news.
Also that.
You know, like I want to comment on it without rubbing people's faces in it. And I'm, you know, I'm a very private person. I never talk about myself much outside of writing. You'll never see a personal post on social media. I don't post, you know, my life or my wife or my politics or my lunches or any of that. So if I have a personal opinion, it's going to be somewhere in my fiction, expressed the best way I know how, and probably very subtle.
I mean, that's a nice way to get it across too. You know, you're reading a book. It's not like in your face. This is rah, 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 shoving it down somebody's throat. It's just a part of you and a part of your book and a part of what you've written.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that. You know, a lot of people did enjoy Haven, like a lot. Like, I think it's become my signature book in a way that if you like Haven, you will like everything I write. And
I
if
think
you don't
I
like
agree.
it, maybe. But you know, I did go back to haunted houses. Alakazam is set in a haunted house. Very, very different, of course. And yeah, I'm very proud of how that turned out.
I really liked the cover of Haven. There was just something about it. I don't know. It definitely reminded me of a haunted house somehow. Like it was just perfect. How did you get the cover for that? Do you have people that do the artwork, or how does it work for you?
Um, because I'm a very visual person and a little bit of a control freak when it comes to art, I usually choose to be very involved in the process, and I often specify it in the contract that I want to be very involved. So this Haven Camcat was very accommodating to that, and I sent them a very rough mock-up. I do covers and I do graphic design, but on a very not on that level yet. So, and this was years ago when my skills were very subpar. So I sent them a very rough mock-up of a perfect house, and it's reflected into this something really creepy. It's a split cover thing, and it's like I don't know if you can see, but the top is such a nice house, and then the bottom behind the letters, you can see that it may not be such a nice house after all.
When I saw that cover, I was just like, there is nothing good going to happen in this.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
I know. So they did that, and then they put the frame kind of on it, which I loved. But I chose like the color scheme and the font and all that. I got to choose all of that to make it as ominous as possible without just being, I guess.
I think you did a great job with that part because it literally reminds me of something that I would just see in this house. Like a picture, the ornaments, the decoration, just everything about it reminds me of that. And I'm like, this is such a cool cover.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I was very, very happy with it. When I first saw it, I was like, you just know it's the one. Some covers are a little harder. Like Alakazam, I visualized, and I couldn't quite get it to work right. So I had this, you know, it had to have a magician's hat, it had to have a house, it had to have a man, but I couldn't quite get it to have that dreamlike, almost like an ink spilled and you got this crazy stain, like a Rorschach stain, you know? So I'm very fortunate because I know people who are more talented than me. I think that's the way to go through life. You just have to know like smarter, more talented people. And Michael Marshall Smith, who also does graphic design, helped me do this cover.
That cover is also really nice. I'm a sucker for some good black and white stuff, but just how it looks dreamlike, but nightmare magical almost. I just really like that cover of that
Yeah,
one too. I like that one most years. I even like the cover of the Muffin Man one. It just fits.
okay, that one I take full credit. I did that one myself, all by myself.
Well, it fits the book perfectly, and it's adorable, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Just so good.
No, I wanted it to be like really playful because it's my most playful book by far. It's literally what happened when my wife said, "Can you just maybe take a break? Just write something light. Just try." Um, so that's what happened. I always listen to my wife, and she's always right. So when I wrote a novel that was so, I mean, a novella, I guess, that was so playful, I was like, I have to give it a playful cover. And I was working with Space Boys books, who are just wonderful to work with, and they're just go nuts.
That's
So I
so
just
cool.
did the thing I wanted to do, and it still has a blood stain, so I guess it's still a little ominous. But, I like it. I like it. I mean, I love explaining to people what it is. I love just telling people it's like a murder mystery with baked goods.
I know when I was telling a couple of people I was reading it, they're like, "Now what is this?" And I was like, "Listen, just go read the synopsis. It's so good." I was like, "It's funny good." I was like, "But trust me, it's just so fun, lighthearted, but it's still serious somehow. Like it's a good book." I hate when some people are talking about this is a funny book and they don't mean it as a good thing. But this, it fits so well.
Yeah, it still has the darkness. You're right. I mean, a little bit of that, but I think all my work has it. So you could tell it's me, but you could also probably tell how many baking shows my wife has made me sit through over the years. I think that really comes across because I can't bake to save my life, and I mean that book is just ridiculous.
That was so funny. That is so funny. What other covers have you gotten to have a hand in of yours?
Uh, Erica, this
I
is
do like that.
I did this one all by myself. This is from the same people who did Aquaman. So this one came out first. This is actually how they found me, Spaceboy Books. That's another funny story. I wrote a science fiction novella. This was one of the first things I written. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to shop it around. I don't know. I sent it to like a few places and I just got tired and I self-published it. And within a week, one of my author friends saw it, loved it, sent it to Spaceboy's books, and Spaceboy made me an offer to take it off and republish it through their.
Wow.
So I did that, and yeah, I like that cover. It's so rare for me to write sci-fi, and it's so hard for me to write sci-fi because that's not how my brain works. So I was just this is kind of how I feel, like just like a long astronaut just floating in space. Like,
I love to read sci-fi, but I don't think I could ever write anything sci-fi. My brain would just melt, I think, probably.
I think that's what happens. Yeah, I sometimes still dare myself to do it, and I did like a novella recently, and I did experience some brain melting.
Oh my
Very,
goodness.
yeah, it just the amount of research alone, and just knowing that you're still somehow getting it wrong because I worked so hard to research Arcot, and I still had some people like with scientific background come up to me and be like, "Well, you know, this one aspect of it could have been a little." I'm like, okay, but it's fiction. It's fiction, I swear.
Give me some leeway here. I've talked to a couple of authors about that, and they said no matter how much like research you do into something, somebody's always going to be there waiting that knows more and is going to say something, no matter what you do. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I get that. But it's also fiction. Like, give me some leeway here.
Yeah, it is frustrating to an extent, but I completely allow it with science. With history, not so much. I'm a huge history buff, so I work my ass off to get as close to realistic as possible. I take no liberties. I don't change any timelines. So if I get something wrong there, I'm just devastated. But I check it so hard against it. So Estate Sale is a historical novel. Alakazam is half historical. Haven is partly historical because I still had to put Ava through several decades. And yeah, that's hard, but I love it. And so far, nobody has said anything to me about that. But So hopefully
Tell
I
me
got
about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I just said hopefully I got away with it, but,
I mean,
but you go ahead.
okay. Tell me about the anthologies that you have been in. Like, it's one thing to write like your own story, your own novella, your own short stories, but like I can't imagine being in an anthology with all these other people that are also writing their own stories. Is that weird? Do you guys interact, or is it just you write, send it in?
I think very seldom do we interact. Sometimes we presses do launch parties, so you get to meet other authors, and sometimes I'm with authors I already know, so I get to go, hey, I'm in the book with you. And sometimes I'm just like, it's authors I know and love, and I don't personally know, but I've been reading them for decades, and I get to be like, oh, I'm in the book. But I love short stories. Short stories are my favorite thing to write, and I I can write a short story a day, and I can write it on any subject. If you tell me in the morning that you want 5,000 words on anything, no matter how weird, I will have it done by the end of the day.
Oh, I
And
love
I often just, look around, throw open calls, and see which anthologies I want to participate in, and I tailor the story specifically to them. Now, when I started writing, I just wrote and then looked for presses that might have anthology stories. But now I'm kind of doing it both ways, and I've gotten a little more strategic. I don't just do it for token payments anymore. I pick and choose who I want to work with and who pays rates. So I and I also try to outdo myself every year. So 2 years ago, I think it was like 10. Last year was 14 anthologies. So this year I have my work cut out for me.
Yes. Is there any? So you were in the Lizzie Borden one, correct? You were, weren't you?
I was, yes. I had a flash.
Yes. So, what was I going to ask? Do you like the anthologies where there's a theme like that, or are you more likely to want to do an anthology where it's just loose, like, hey, this is about ghosts or something? Do you have a preference? Do you like one that's more themed?
I love a themed one. It's such a good challenge. It takes some of my brain work away from me, so I don't have to figure it out. So I've done a lot of themed ones, like Lizzie Borden. Lizzie Borden, I saw the name of the editor, and I recognized her from reading her a while back, and I'm like, oh, this would be fun to work with her. So I wrote a flash in like a couple hours and sent it off, and she liked it. But there's some editors that I'm a huge fan, like a bucket list editors that I got to work with last year for the first time, and so I have a list in my head basically of editors and authors I want to work with.
Just start checking them off.
Yeah. I mean, it's a challenge, but last year I got to share a TOC with almost everybody on my list at one point or another, at least for that time. I mean, Ramsey Campbell, Michael Marshall Smith twice, David J. Chow, some other people, and some guy named King. I kept wanting to be on it. So yes, I'm in an anthology with King. I was very excited about that. It's my first middle grade story. I had no idea how to write for kids, and now I do.
Oh my goodness, that's so fun though. I love it that you are getting to do something that you love to do and you're enjoying doing it. Like that is so important.
Oh yeah, if you don't enjoy it, you can't do it. It doesn't, it's heartbreaking. You get tons of rejections. It doesn't pay very well, and not everybody is.
You gotta love it, or you're just doing it for no reason, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, I think unless you're a really big name where you really get big money, at this level that I'm currently at least, you have to love it. It's just masochism, honestly. So yeah, but I am actively trying to get to the next level. I have an agent, And
I think
yes,
you're doing great so far, just from my side, at least, from what I see.
thank you. I'm fronting. Um, it you have to have an agent to get to the next level, and that was a big thing. I actually had an agent before. I just didn't kind of talk about it because it was a really bad experience, and it went on for over a year. And I was very, very happy to make a switch last September. So hopefully,
This goes better.
yes, hopefully it's already so far much better, and it's let's just see, because I have so many finished products. My computer is just bursting with them. Like, I know it looks like I'm putting out a lot of work, but I have tons of it. Finished projects. So
I'm so excited. We're going to get so many books, hopefully, from you, and novellas and short stories. I just cannot wait. And I'm so glad you have stuff to go, too.
Thank you. I feel like, I've calculated, and if I just sit back and release like 1 or 2 books a year, I'm good for a decade without even lifting a finger.
I'm glad you have a plan, too. I cannot, that's something that would worry me, too, is I would put out like one good book and then never have another good idea again. That it would be my worst fear. So
That's not a bad thing, though. There are so many books that have been put out just one and done, and people still talk about them.
sometimes that's all it takes, though.
Confederacy of Dances, that was a random book. He wrote it, he shopped around, nobody wanted it, he got depressed, killed himself. His mother went on and published it for him posthumously, and he won a Pulitzer. I'm just saying, it's not the worst thing to have one brilliant book. It's not what I want a bunch of them, but it's not the worst thing.
True, not the worst thing, because at least you have that one book that you've sunk your soul into, put out, and it's wonderful. So true.
Right, it's immortality. Really, like,
yes,
it's always there. It always sits on the shelf. You have some very impressive shelves behind your head. I can't even like see the titles, but there's just so many books.
I love to read.
I read mostly digitally, so I'm one of those weird authors, I think, that just doesn't have a lot of books. And everybody's always like, "Where are your books?" I'm like, "My Kindle. I have like thousands of them."
Until the last 2 years, everything was on my Kindle, all digital, because I didn't have space for any books, and now I've just slowly started getting all of them. But my Kindle, or my digital library, is ridiculous.
Yeah, I hear that. But it's wonderful.
Take it with you anyway.
It takes no space at all.
I used to haul around like 2 Stephen King books as a kid, like in my purse, and so there's no room for anything else. And now I've got a Kindle that I can just slide into my bag and walk out. No big deal.
Oh my God. And you chose an author who wrote such fat books too. Like, you didn't just choose somebody with 20 books.
I couldn't just take a little one with me somewhere. No, I was having to pack just in case I was gone for 2 days.
Oh my God.
No,
crazy. I'm a minimalist, so to me, I just don't collect things and I don't accumulate a lot. So I think at some point I did have a book collection that got up to like 1,000 books. I counted it and I decided it's too many, and I got it down to 100.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, willpower.
Listen, okay, I just gave away 2 banana boxes of books because I do purge mine too, and then we have like a local buy nothing book yard sale group, and I'm like, who wants some books? And somebody comes and gets them. So I did the 2 boxes. I can't imagine like 900. I would die.
It wasn't immediate, and I did have like a really nice collection, so I sold it all.
Oh, that makes it easier, I think.
It was nice. It was nice to like, I felt lighter. And after that, when we moved, it's like it was so many less things to move. One of the boxes I sold, I think it was 60 books at one go. And I had to get it to the post office. I had to pay it. And it was too heavy for me. you can see I'm a giant person. Yeah, 98 pounds of steel. So this box was insane. It was only like a 3-block walk. I remember feeling like I was just gonna pass. At some point, I just stopped and I couldn't pick it. And then I finally like, okay, you books, you're going to a good home. I will drag you to this post office, and you will go to Florida, as I told you. And that was the biggest one. That was like when you feel physically the weight of what you're doing.
I've been doing that since December because we want to move like halfway during the year. And I'm like, I don't want to move everything I own. So like I've been purging and I feel lighter every time. And I'm like, what else can I get away with and give away? It's just a nice feeling though.
I like it. I like it a lot. And we used to live in a studio apartment, my wife and I, and we did it for 12 years. And nobody believes us because it's not one of those big studios you see. It was like a teeny tiny studio. And I remember our friends would see it and they were like, that's not right. But it was very wonderful, compact way of life. And then we decided we had enough and we bought a 2-bedroom house. And moving from that to that, I'm like, technically I could have as many books as I want. I just don't want to anymore because I've been minimalistic for so long. But now I'm perfectly okay. I borrow from a library heavily. I use NetGalley as you do. And, it's plenty of books. A lot of books are making it on the NetGalley now.
Yes! Like I cruise NetGalley, Book Siren, the library. Like there's so many options. I wish when I was younger, I could have just downloaded a book and read it from the library. Like I love going to the library, but when you're a kid, you don't always have the option to just jet on down to the library when you need a new book, But you do now with the Kindle and the library options. It's just one of my favorite things ever.
It is. I fought Kindle. I was such a Luddite, and I was so old-fashioned about reading. I got a Kindle for a gift, and it took me a full year to take it out of the box. I would look at it and I'm like, I can't. I'm not this person. And turns out I am absolutely this person, and I'm so happy to be this person and to have this amazing convenience. I think it's one of the best technological inventions ever, as far as just superpowering my life.
Yep.
Selections are amazing, and yeah, I just love it.
You don't have to worry about books getting shipped to you if you pre-order them and then getting them a week later. You can just order it and have it delivered directly to your e-device. It's just so magical.
Yeah. Plus, it's eco-friendly. I'm big about that. I try to reduce my footprint keep it as little as possible. So
absolutely,
I get to feel like a good person while reading, and I read about terrible things sometimes, so it's a very nice contrast. I'm like, well, this is horrifying and murderous, but hey, no tree died to make this book.
I'm saving the world a little bit here, doing my part.
Exactly. It's really for the world. I mean, I'm doing all these things, but it's actually super weird to me that my Earthling books will not be released digitally. They're my first books that only come out in the dead tree form. But to be fair,
it is limited.
It is limited, and they're so beautiful. Like they come out, Paul puts out books that are so beautiful that I think the trees just go like, yeah, that was worth it.
They're like, you know what? This is it. This is what we want to do.
Yeah, like it's like reincarnation or something. It's nice. It looks good.
It's like the hunters that when they hunt an animal and they use every part of it and honor it.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's kind of similar. So, it's okay. And eventually, I do hope to re-release these books in more formats so everybody could read them, especially as a Halloween month, because I genuinely firmly believe everybody should read that book. It's not even modest.
So excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is going to be ridiculous when your Halloween book comes out. I bet it's going to be good.
I hope it's by far my most personal book. I will say this. I have never written anything more personal. It borrows from my life so heavily that I was amazed. My wife still spoke to me after she read it. Still sometimes mentions it to me. Well, you did that in October time. I'm like, I know, but it's still a love letter.
It's just a little bit terrible, but it's still. I'm excited. I bet it's going to be so good. And especially since Paul's excited for it too, because let's be honest, he doesn't pick anything bad.
No. He really, like, he's been around for like 2 decades now, I think. And that is a very impressive track record, because you read presses and sometimes it's like, whoa, why did you go with this? You've just published like 5 good books, and what is this? But consistently quality.
Absolutely.
So, that was amazing to me. I'm still am. I'm very honored. I can't shut up about it. I talk about it.
Listen, I was at Jeff Con, as you know, because I messaged you from there, and Paul was telling us all about Earthlings and everything, and he gave us a little sneak peek, and he said that he was publishing one of your books, and I was so excited. I was like, okay, I should probably wait till this panel's over to message her, but then I just pulled my phone out, and I was like, I'm going to message her real quick.
No, I love that because, I don't get out much. Like, I'm one of those authors that people kind of know about, but I don't go to any cons. I only go to one con. I go to PhilCon because it's down the street from my house and they keep inviting me. So I just go. But I don't really travel. I don't get out much. And it's so fantastic to me because I feel like vicariously I'm there. If somebody talks about you, if someone's excited for you, it's like you're kind of a little bit there. So I love that. Thank you.
It was so cool. I don't know. And then I was telling everybody else there, I was like, have you read her book yet? Have you read Haven yet?
Please keep doing that in all areas of life. I mean, if you're grocery shopping, also perfectly acceptable. Just kind of like, hi, how's your day going? Have you read Haven?
Let me tell you about this book.
I love it. Like, one of my favorite things is our local library. We have a really big local library, amazingly, for like a small town. It's kind of famous for being so big, and people from other townships have to buy membership to use it, and they do. And on Halloween, around Halloween, they give me an author event.
Oh.
For a state sale. And I just did another one this last October. And I actually get to meet people who read my books, and it's such an amazing, rewarding experience. It's one thing when you read reviews online, but like in person, I have the wildest array of fans. I swear. I have people I would have never imagined reading my books, and I don't know who came up to them and said, hey, have you read Haven? But somebody must have, because I had a little old lady who must have been maybe in her 80s. She took an access bus. I don't know if you know those access buses, because she was in a wheelchair. And she took an access bus to come see me. And she was the first person to arrive. And at the time, the library had another event down the corridor about history. And I thought that she was there for that. And then she started talking. And then she looks at me and she's like, you don't look like your pictures. I was like, it's the blonde. I was blonde. And then she started talking to me, and she's like, she's read a bunch of my books. Not just one. She reads a bunch of them. I don't know how she discovered it, but she just keeps downloading it and reading them. And I loved it. And then there was another girl who, like, super hip, like, so super hip. Way hip for my books, I would think. She looked like, she's like out of a hip hop video. And she came up to my wife and started telling her how she found Haven on TikTok and how much she loved it. She brought her own copy to sign.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, this is probably my favorite thing, because when you write a book and then it sits there and you don't know what's happening with it.
Or who's reading it. That's such a good thought about. Because I didn't really think about that either, but like there are so many people reading your books, and I'm sure we're all different, clearly. That's just a fun thing to think about. Like,
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like I don't get out much. I'm one of those people, like if you leave me on the couch with a computer and my Kindle, I will just stay there. and
I
I
work
just
from home. I can't tell you the last time I left my house. So
you have to leave your house so you can tell people, hey, have you read Haven?
I just shout it from my digital boxes.
Yeah, I mean,
Tell my grocery guy.
that's wonderful. It's so cozy, like, and we live in a time where it's so okay to stay inside
Because
alone.
you still get social interaction. You still have friends, people that you have like actual meaningful relationships with. You see,
Yeah,
talk to them. It's
there is something just, I don't know, but when you do get out, it's kind of like almost electrifying. Like the few times I get out, it's so fun. Like I was at PhilCon for the weekend, and I get to hang out with my writer buddies that I met last time, and I get to talk to some authors and meet local people, and I'm like, wow. And every so often one of them knows who I am, and that's super exciting.
so I don't go out much either, clearly. And I went to Jeff Con. That was the first time I'd been out anywhere like in a long time. And I'm super introverted, despite the fact that it probably seems like I'm not. So like I'm nervous on the drive down, and then we get there and there's all these people there, and I'm just like, oh, this is a lot. And it wasn't even that many people. I think maybe 45 people at but it was so much fun. It was like as soon as I stepped in, it was like electric because everybody reads that's there. They like the same things you do. Like they're kind of your people ish. So it made it a lot easier and it's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely very helpful because I I spent my entire life in big cities, and now we moved to the suburbs, and it's much easier to be a bookish nerd in a big city. I find in the suburbs, the values are different. Most people just have kids and lawns and all these things. It's a different vibe. So then to go from that to like just a completely bookish environment for 3 full days, like PhilCon, it's just so fun. It's like, hello nerds, let's all talk about books.
Yes. All of us, let's just do nerd stuff right now. It's just so nice. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. I'm so glad you got to go. I actually know another person who was there, another Haven fan. Like
That's
grabbed Haven and like messaged me, and kind of that's how we know each other. And his was the second message to arrive after you. I got an email from him saying, "Congratulations!" And Paul didn't tell me he was announcing it until the next day.
I'm not entirely sure Paul knew he was going to announce it because, like, him and Paul from Suntup were just like telling us all kinds of stuff, and they're like, "Is this live streaming?"
Yeah, no, I know. That's what's so funny. He like emailed me the next day. He's like, "By the way, I announced your book." Because I was supposed to do an interview talking specifically about working with PS Publishing and Earthling, and I had put it on hold because I didn't know if I could, announce. So after that, I was like, okay, well, at least I can finish my interview.
Well, now I know.
It feels wonderful to talk about it because I'm enormously excited for it.
I don't know if I could have kept that secret. Like, I know you had to, but like, oh my gosh.
I have to. Actually, a lot of times you get contracts and people tell you don't talk about it until we announce it. And I have several other things. I have 2 more things coming out this year that I know for sure. And I haven't been able to like announce them in a big way yet, but I can talk about them. I can tell you that I have a 3rd novel coming out on March 20th from Crystal Lake. And I can tell you it is my most horror novel. It is my most visceral, in-your-face novel. I pushed myself very hard to write it. And it's, how I wanted to do something different with haunted houses, so I wrote Haven. Beautiful Ones is Mia wanted to do something different with zombies.
I'm on the Crystal Lake Street team, so I'm definitely going to be bugging them. I'll be like, "You got anything for Mia this year?"
Wonderful. Yeah, it's all done. It's all edited. I finished the cover with the cover artist, so hopefully it'll be announced soon. And I have a novella coming out in a collection of novellas from Lethe Press.
Ooh.
Okay, you know, okay. Yeah, it's thematic. You were asking about themes. This has a very specific theme: sapphic witches. So
Okay,
all
I'm here
about
for
witches all the time. And when I saw that open call, I'm like, I am absolutely writing this. I think I wrote that novella in like a week. I'm like, yeah, there's no
so
way I'm
excited.
not writing. So I had to think of something different to do with witches because I didn't want to write the same witches everybody writes.
Of course.
Of course, because you know, who wants to
Why
do
would you
that?
do something everybody else has done when you can clearly do something people haven't? I love that.
Plus, it's more fun for me. I don't know where my stories are going most of the time when I sit down to write them. So in a way, I'm telling myself the story first before you get to read it. And it's kind of like a different kind of reading experience. I have a friend who's a Danish author, and she said it. She's like, it's just a different way of reading. You tell
You
us,
literally solved your own problem because you said you were tired of reading the same things over and over again. Now you don't have to.
I'm very do-it-yourself by nature, especially like since we bought a house, we're always trying to figure out what we can do ourselves. So I have provided myself reading material that needs to be my approval. So conceited, oh my gosh.
Okay, this has been one of my favorite interviews. I don't know if you've enjoyed it, but this has been so fun. I just had to get that out.
This is terrific. I was going to compliment you later so you didn't get a big head, but this is really great. I mean, I think we should do this again sometime because this
Oh,
is
I definitely think so too. This has been so fun. I know that I cut you off in the middle of what you're saying, but that just popped into my head at the moment. I was like, this has been so fun because I don't know, it's just been very interesting to find out about your process because you're the first person that I've talked to that doesn't have like this grueling trying to figure this out thing. And it's just like easy magic. And that makes sense because I've read a bunch of your books and I'm like, these are so good. I have to know where this is all coming from. And then to learn about how you write, it's, I don't know, it just gives it something extra.
I like that you said magic. I mean, you could have gone with possessed, but
Oh my goodness.
that works.
No.
Yeah, I think books are magic. To me, books are magic. I've been reading from a very early age. I literally don't remember my life without books. And to me, books have always been magical. And if I can't make it feel like it is, I wouldn't do this because I have really weirdly high standards for literature, and I want it to be like I want to be proud of it all the time. When I go back to revisit my work, I still want to be proud of it. I revisited my debut novel, Estate Sale, this a year ago, last January. I was like, I'm gonna rewrite it. I'm a better writer now. I'm gonna re-edit and I'm gonna rewrite it, and I rewrote it page by page almost. The context is, I mean, it's basically the same story. It's just better written. I double checked it more, I edited it more, and I expanded it by about 10%. And once I did that, I started shopping it around, and it ended up on Lethe Press. So it was really good. And I was very happy with it because I did not have those options when I first wrote it. And then when I was first coming out with it, I didn't know what to do with it. I had a very small press. It ended up dropping it. I had to self-release it. I hated that. And now, like 2 years later, with this new edition, I had 3 very good offers from known presses, and I got to pick and choose.
I bet that has to make you feel so good. Like you, more than one author or offer for that of something that you wrote, well, not forever ago technically, but a while back, and then you went over it, got it out, and then you have these 3 authors for it. It would just feel so validating, I think.
It did. It felt very validating. I patted myself on the shoulder like very heavily, and for a while, I was very happy. But I'm also a little insatiable when it comes to that. So I was like, okay, that was nice. What's next? I don't have I don't have that thing where it says, "Oh, that was nice. Now we can sit back and relax for a while."
Next level.
Yeah, and it worked out really well because the other 2 offers, I ended up working with both of those presses on something else because I was like, well, Crystal Lake, I said, you know what? I have a novel that's perfect for you guys because I've read a bunch of Crystal Lake, obviously, what horror fan hasn't, and I send them beautiful ones, with its wham bam zombie, blah, and they accepted it in 2 days. They said it was one of the fastest acceptals ever.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, that's also very nice. What's next?
Can I get you to accept another book in an hour?
Yeah, I think I would definitely go there. I want that reaction because I think when you know. As a reader, if I read a book for an hour, I know if it's any good.
Yes.
And or as a writer, if I write a book and I spend an hour writing it, I know if it's good or not. I know if it's worth continuing. That's usually very helpful, except my latest novel actually had no idea what was going on. I started writing something and I gave it to my wife to check out. I think I had like 10 pages. And I was busy in the other room. And on page 3, she calls me and says, "This is a novel.
Oh.
You have to make it into a novel." So I made it into a novel. So she told me to. I'm like, I didn't want to. I just finished one. I was exhausted.
Just wanted a short story or a novella, but I guess I'll go back to the drawing board.
I know. The hardships are real, I'm telling you. But, she loves it. I wrote it for her, for our anniversary gift, because I'm a humble writer. And instead of buying real presents, I'm like, here you go. Here's a.
I mean, you wrote her something that's going to be around forever.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, but I mean, it has to find a publishing house. I write thrillers. I just haven't found a publisher for them yet. Just so you didn't think I just write all those genres. I also write all these genres.
You just write everything. I mean, when you read a bunch of genres, you write a bunch of genres, I would feel like. Because I know a lot of the authors that I've talked about, most of their, or talked to, it seems like most of their stuff, they like horror, which I do too, but they don't write much other than horror. But the ones that I've talked to that seem to branch out and do well in different little adjacent genres seem to read a lot more genres as well. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's important. All my favorite writers, I would say, try hop around genres. And like I said, again, Michael Marshall Smith, but he's a famous genre hopper. And he's so good at every genre, so he's definitely one of the people.
I'm definitely going to check his books out after this, clearly.
I think you have to. You have to. It's like,
I think I have to.
Public service announcement. Treat it as more. But a lot of other authors too. I think the authors I respect the most are the ones who have versatility. I think I see a lot of people in the indie genre, in the indie horror scene, just really lock into it. And I get it. I mean, they love it. They're happy doing it. But I do feel like it's a little limiting because it was limiting for me as a reader. And it would be limiting for me as a writer. I went through a phase where I just read horror. But that was ages ago. And I started branching out and I just never stopped. I think it broadens your life.
It does. Horror, thriller, mysteries, historical fiction, romantasy, sci-fi. There's so much.
Yeah.
And a lot of it literally dances with each other half the time because you don't have authors that are just writing that singular genre, which I think is wonderful. I love to get a book that's a little bit of a mixed bag, you know?
Me too. And I always try to see like how far I can push it, because you have to keep in mind that you want it to be marketable, you want it to be sellable, so you want to be able to, it has to kind of slot into the genre.
Yep.
Like the booksellers know which shelves to put it on or whatever, but you also want to push an envelope to see what's interesting. So I think with this new novel, Beautiful Ones, it's a thriller horror with sci-fi elements. I crammed it with things. It's like a Check Smith. I just did as much as I could get away with, and it's my smallest novel too, so it's like so lean, and I just I'm
That's
very
my baby.
interested to see how it plays.
I'm so excited to check out all your stuff. It sounds like you're going to have a good 2026 as far as writing goes and releasing, at least.
I hope so. I hope so. But I want a little more. I just can't help it.
My goodness.
I know.
Okay, I'm not going to keep you too much longer, of course, because I've already drug you out here for an hour, or a little bit over an hour. But this was fun, and we got to do this again.
Yes, no. I mean, this was such a pleasure, and the time went by so quickly. I just didn't even realize the time until you said it.
I know. I was like, oh my God, I hope I didn't keep her too long, because I told her an hour, and now it's an hour and 5 minutes.
No, it's great. I mean, I honestly don't have anything to do but like eat and finish Seven Dials on Netflix because I love Agatha Christie so much, and this is her latest adaptation.
I am crying. My screen name on Substack is Spill the Agatha Christie. And I'm a huge Agatha Christie fan, and Then There Were None is my favorite book. I have like 9 copies, like different copies of it, the Spanish version, the digital versions, the audio book.
I love it. I think that might have been the first book I read of hers. Now I'm a huge fan. I grew up on Agatha Christie, and I will watch all the cinematic adaptations to this day. And actually, one of my favorite neighbors at the pool this summer, we have a pool and we all hang out, and they inherited a giant box of those like really old paperbacks from the 50s from some uncle. And when they found out how much I love Agatha Christie, they gave me this little old knapsack book. It's such a beautiful, rare little thing, and it just made me so happy. So that was like I said, I don't accumulate books, but that one definitely made it on my shelf.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I started reading Agatha Christie, I think, in high school, my freshman year. I have read since I was little, so I've read a lot. So by the time I got to high school, and I come from a very small town, not many books. So my librarian's like, okay, well, I'll see what I can find you. And she pulls out John Grisham, Phyllis A. Whitney, and Agatha Christie. And I was like, okay, I'll give them a try. Changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good librarian.
Yes, I loved her so much. She always had the best, like, suggestions. Always.
That's wonderful. I think I started reading Agatha Christie, I started reading adult books very young because I was one of those very precocious children. And I think, as years went on, I learned to appreciate her more. But to this day, and, all this time later, I'm still just completely in awe of how clever her plots are. It's just so effortlessly clever. The mystery writing does not come naturally to me. Muffin Man did not, I knew the characters and I knew the story, but to twist it that way, that took work. I had to think about it. It wasn't just I had to actually pause and be like, oh, what happened?
I love mysteries and Agatha Christie. I love figuring them out, and I always do, but I just cannot imagine trying to write a mystery. That just seems hard.
Well, not to her. I read it, and I read about it, and to her it was as natural as horror is to me, which is amazing. It just shows you how different the brains are wired. But I don't figure mysteries out. I'm embarrassed to say I don't figure her mysteries out. I should be specific. I will figure whatever modern domestic thriller mystery. That's fine. That's easy. It's either the wife or the mistress or the husband.
Someone.
Yeah, but the way she wrote it was just so clever and unexpected, and it's my golden standard to this day.
I think that's the reason that I am so obsessed with her, because I do love thrillers and mysteries, but I literally figure them out super, super soon. Agatha Christie, And Then There Were None. I was reading that trying to figure out who did this the whole time, and by the time I'm done with it, I'm like, okay, she got me. This is a first. And then I started reading her other books, and it was harder for me to figure out, and I'm like, okay, she knows what she's doing. And it wasn't one of those misdirects that a lot of thrillers seem to do where it doesn't make sense. Like, hers makes sense.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing. Like, I think she saw the ending and she unraveled it from there, which is amazing because I never see the ending when I write. I always have to like work my way up to it. And the other thing is, my wife is exactly like you. She figures everything out. It is impossible to watch any like mysteries with her or anything because she'll just 20 minutes in, she's like, I know what happened. You watch, and see how right I am. So my goal, whenever I write a mystery, I have to make it so she can't predict it. If she reads it and says she figured it out, or she even had an inkling, I will rewrite it until she has no idea what's going on. So
That's so funny. That's so good, though.
she's challenging. She's brilliant. She has a mind. She should have been like a forensic scientist or something. So the Muffin Man, I think the nicest, one of the biggest compliments I've ever received was that she was like, yeah, I think I only figured out like 60% of it. And I have gotten to almost 100% lately with her. Like, I write noir, which most people don't know about. I write noir short fiction too. And yeah, those, I think some of them I managed to make it so she doesn't know what's going on. And it is so rewarding. I mean, nothing is kind of noir, but sorry.
That's cool. That's so cool, though. It's very cool. Especially to know through your working through it, trying to trick her, and she's good at figuring it out, then you know when your book actually releases, it's going to be harder for readers, regular readers, to figure out. Because honestly, most thriller readers, I don't think, figure it out until like 50 to 60, 70% through, maybe. So
I have to ask now, did you figure it out?
I did not. I was almost all the way through it before I started realizing. So it was good. It was good.
Awesome. That's literally what I want to hear because so far nobody figured out the Muffin Man. And not only that, but we have a friend who works for the FBI.
Oh,
I know it's not very popular right now, but it's a different area. And she didn't figure it out. And then,
that's a compliment.
And then she started passing it around the office. And so far, no one has figured it out. And I think it's one of my biggest like things. I
don't think anybody would ever be able to tell me anything again if I knew that.
That just makes me so happy because these people are very, very smart because we went to a Halloween party with them and we were playing murder mystery games.
Ooh.
You know? And they were like way on the next level. I was just like, whoa, you guys are amazing. And then I know that these people cannot figure out my little puzzle of like, this is great.
That's such a good, that's so cool too, honestly. So cool. I would be so impressed if somebody told me that, honestly.
Well, that's the next level, but now I know that's what I have to top. Like, if I find publisher for my thrillers, I have to get to that level.
You're gonna have to get somebody even more good at that. Like, we're gonna have to find, I don't know, a criminal profiler next.
Yeah, because my plan was resurrecting Sherlock Holmes, but I like yours because it's more realistic.
That is realistic, but I also love Sherlock Holmes, so I do enjoy your idea too.
That's the other thing I grew up on. I grew up on all these classics, and the standards were set high so early on.
I read, I think, my first Sherlock Holmes book when I was like 9 or 10, and I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever read. Is there more? And it was just so, I love odd detectives, and for me, he's definitely an odd detective, and just so crazy. He just figures out things, and I know he's a fictional character, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Honestly, like, for people like us, people who love books that much, I think the line blurs a little.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm aware between fiction and reality, but I swear sometimes, and just wait till you read the Halloween novel, because I swear the way I wrote about our town, there are still parts of it where my wife goes through it and she just looks at me like, I know what you did.
That's so cool.
And I just go, it's fiction, honey, it's fiction. We all know it's not.
I mean, to be fair, who has really come up with a book that's 100% fiction and not based off something they've seen, read in their life, walked past? Like, come on now.
It's absolutely, it bleeds through so much. I think with me, it bleeds through so much. And I think the only reason maybe some people don't pick up on it is because I don't talk so much about myself and they don't immediately recognize it. But like for Paul, I send him pictures of me and my wife from Halloween. And I'm like, look how much of this is real. And he was like, wow. And like he reread the novel to see like, and it just made it so much more alive for him.
I cannot freaking wait. Cannot freaking wait.
I may one day maybe I'll post those pictures. You should like subscribe to my newsletter or something.
I think
maybe I'll finally.
I do, if I'm not mistaken. Does it come via email or Substack?
Oh well, then it's through my website.
Then yes, I do have that one.
It comes from something. Oh well, then there you go. I'll try to be a little more personal this year. It's an effort. Usually, I'm just read my books. Just read them and see.
Like when you're an author, you have to market yourself too, and I also could not do that. I do this whole review thing, and I love that, but I'm just like, it's hard being a person at the same time.
You do a great job, though. I'm always like so impressed by the quality and the volume of your posts. I have really hard time with that sort of thing. I post, I never did any social media until I became an author. I'm not that person, so to me it's still relatively new. And I thought, well, I'll join it and I'll post about my books. I didn't realize, that I have to post about everything else. Like, I'm like, I don't think you need to know what I had for lunch or what my wife looked like in order to enjoy my books. But I don't know.
Sometimes it's cool to be personable. Sometimes it's cool to be mysterious. I still read your books and I had no clue who you were. So you must be doing something right.
There you go. Success. Exactly. And, hopefully one day we'll meet at a convention or something, that one of those rare times we're both out. And then, we can hang out. You can see what I eat. You can see what my life looks like. I'll even play ukulele for you. But, it's just different.
I mean, to be fair, though, if you were posting all the time, you wouldn't be writing all the time either, and then we'd be getting less books.
That's another thing, though. I see so many people post these giant Substacks and things, and I'm like, when do you have time to write? Because this is the length of a short story. Like, I would rather be writing. I think I would rather be writing. I think I could write you a more interesting fictional story than if I were telling you about, like, I don't know, the last books I read. I think I'd rather write you a book.
I agree. I like getting more books. I like hearing about authors and the good things they've done and their awards and all the cool stuff they're doing in their life and stuff they're excited to share about. But I would hate to think that they were like forcing themselves to share something instead of writing, which is clearly what you guys want to do anyway. That's your favorite part, and you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can't speak to other people. I know a lot of different people, and a lot of authors take different approach to promotion, and I respect it, because it is hard to get your name out there. There's a lot of competition. We live in a time where everybody can be an author, and a lot of people become authors, and it's hard to stand out. But I would love to stand out by quality of my work rather than quality of my online.
Oh, no, I agree. Like, you're writing these books and they're literally your works of art. I would rather that be the part that I was proud of versus being the most popular muffin maker or something like that. To be fair, though, you did have a muffin book, but that's besides the point.
I feel like I baked a really good muffin without, like, actually baking. And I think that's a big effort because I'm useless in the kitchen almost. I will clean it and I will do dishes, but I don't really cook or bake or anything. And to me, I think, that was a significant
It
contribution.
was.
And, I bake. 10 seasons of British Bake Off or something rather
Oh my
crazy.
goodness, yes. I love cooking shows, but I don't watch them all the time. Those are my favorite reality shows, though, just the cooking ones.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you had to choose. But I seldom watch TV, but, my wife is a fantastic cook and baker. So she watches them almost like research as well as for fun. And they're just always on TV. So I've seen so many of them over the years without like actually watching them. Like I'll sit there in the same room, I'll play music, but it'll be on TV, so I kind of absorbed it.
Uh,
And I think I just wanted when I went to write something funny, I'm like, there you go.
Thank you for being on with me. I've literally kept you 20 minutes past now.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
I'm going to let